Let's get started.
Okay.
All right. So this is going to be the exact strategy that I've been following when it comes to setting up, executing, and using live interviews. Right? Okay, cool. So number one, you got to invite people. Right?
Mm-hmm.
So to invite people, what I did first was, as we learned from Russell Brunson, right? Focus on your Dream 100, right? So that was pretty much my first focus. I tried to set up my Dream 100. Who would I love to interview? And quickly found out that's a problem, because if your Dream 100 is all full of 8 people, right? Russell Brunson, would love to have him on the show.
Mm-hmm.
He'll never say yes at this point in time, right? He will say yes, not right now.
Right.
Okay, so
right.
You gotta have, that's your level A. Then you gotta have your level B and your level C people in there, right? Level C people meaning they're at your level, right? Level B meaning they're all above your level. However, they'd be very willing to hop on your show, right? So you set up Google Drive like an Excel sheet, right? You write down the numbers 1 to 100, and you start writing down all the people's names that you want to have on your show. You write down what subject are they an expert in, right? Or what's their business called, for example. And then what I did, or what I still do, not as much now, but what I do is I write down the numbers 1, 2, 3, 4, 7 again. Right? And I'll explain in a second why I do that. Right?
Okay.
So then every Friday, I set up my camera and I shoot 7 video invites. Right? That's why I write down right next to it on the right 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And every time I do that again and again and again and again and again. So I know exactly, okay, this is my batch. That way, if I all of a sudden see like, okay, I got to hit 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, but I only have 5 names, I got to, block a set of time again to start looking for new names, right?
Right.
Beginning, first, easy. At a certain point, a little difficult. And at another certain point, you're not even adding names anymore. Like I'm not even adding names anymore for the last couple of months, right? Because I'm going to share some other tricks with you that are going to help you explode with getting people on your show. Okay?
Okay.
So then those video invites, they should be around a minute. No more, right? And what's the setup? First of all, you stroke their ego. You make them a compliment. You say how much you appreciate them, what they mean to you, what they've done for you, right? You got to investigate them a little bit, right? So if you would send a message to Russell Brunson, you know exactly what you would say, right?
Right.
So you say that, you start with that, and then you say like, look, you're such an amazing person. I want to share your message with my audience, right? My name is Rebecca, and I am the founder of da-da-da, right? Don't worry about all of this. I will share I will even build a PDF out of this and share it with you.
I know I didn't want to interrupt you, but how did you feel though when you had just a little bitty small audience? How would that benefit them for coming into your group or your platform that was small? Because I always remember, it's got to be some benefit to them. So what was the benefit to them?
Getting new audiences, right?
Even if it's small.
Hey, that's up to them. I don't know about how big my audience is. I'm not going to say like, oh yeah, I would really have to have you on my show. I want to share with you in advance. I only have 2 people watching. No, I'm not going to say that. I'm just going to say I'd love to have you on my show, right? And then
they can figure out the rest.
Exactly. And then if I ask you your name, then more people are going to watch it for sure. Right?
Okay.
So, yeah, great question. Don't ask that or don't share that. They're going to ask.
Okay.
Right? So we'll get into that in a second. Right? So then, of course, you share your name, your business, and what's your mission. Very important. Right? Because it's got to align with their message so they can share and help you with achieving your mission. So far, everybody responded. They love my mission, right?
Yeah, right.
My mission is to change the lives of 1 million dads to help them become fearless. They love that. So they're like, wow, yes, you know, love that. I can help with that. So that's something they enjoy as well, right? Then what's the next step, right? So again, I'd love to have you on my show. If you're interested, then please reach out and we can set up a date and time when, you know, I'll send you a link to set this up or whatever it is, right?
Right.
So then once that's done, right? And again, I'll make sure that I'll try and turn this into a PDF, right? So you got all the steps nicely set up as well. And so then you upload all those videos that you took onto your computer, and here's a choice. You can upload them to Vimeo, to YouTube, on your Google Drive if you want, right? That's up to you. Me personally, I do YouTube, and I post everything publicly. So everybody can see, I got like, I think 200 plus invites on there. Everybody can see that I invited Drake, I invited Russell Brunson, Tony Robbins, I invited Shane Larson, I invited 50 Cent, Eminem, right? So there's a whole mix in there, right? Obama, I did a video for Obama, right? So everybody can see that. Why? Because I want people to see what I'm doing, but I also want, maybe if I have that publicly, somebody's going to say, wait a minute, this guy, you know, I have contacts with guy. I love what you're doing. You know, let me get you in contact with that person, right? That's a choice. If you don't like that for whatever reason, Vimeo, or put it on YouTube and put it on unlisted, right? So
right.
Only they can when they see the link, or just Google Drive. So definitely nobody can see it, and that's easy as well, right? Make sense?
Yes.
So now you got your video. Now what? Well, the best thing is email. If you can find their email address, you send them an email, right? And in that email, again, as I said before, I'll make a PDF, and I said exactly I'll share my template, but this is more or less what I do. So first of all, I say something about that person, right? Again, just like in the text, not the same, a little bit different, but you know, and then I'm just going to say, look, I know you're a very busy person. If I know you're very busy, I have for you, I made for you a very short video, right? So once you got that done, okay, I'm going to put you on mute a second, Rebecca. Just wait if you have a question. All right, so when that is done, you write underneath, let me see. So 2 lines of what you do, right? Again, with your mission, for example, in there, very important. Then you're saying again in the text, look, I want to invite you to come on and that doesn't matter if it's a live interview show or if it's an interview show for your podcast, or, you know, that doesn't matter, right? But make sure that they know. It's very important, especially when it's live, because not a lot expect that, right? So you got to make sure you say that. And then again, you know, hey, you can, if you want to come on my show, just reply to this email and we can set this up, right? Good? Good. All right. So then within that Google Drive document, you keep track of who's responding, right? So who's saying yes, who's saying directly no, who's asking you a question. So this is, for example, what you said, like, yeah, but what if your audience is really small? And, you know, why would they come on your show? Well, they come on my show because they want to spread their message. And for some people, it doesn't matter, or they just forget to investigate, right? However, there are others that come back to you and they give you a list. Fill out this list. How big is your audience, right? Okay, so my audience is 10, 15, 50, 100, right? Doesn't matter. And then they're going to be like, okay, we don't want, you know, we're not interested, okay? Don't stop there. Ask them, okay, you're not interested because my audience is not big enough? Yes, exactly. Okay, makes sense. How big does my audience have to be? Because then by the time it is as big, I'll reach out to you again. And then they give you a number, right? Some people that I spoke with, they say 10,000. I'm like, cool. I'll get back to you when I got those numbers, right? But it's good to know. And that's why you got your Google Sheet. You can make all those notes in there. And then you know, it's like, yeah, now I got 5,000. Let me try again, right? Now I'm bigger. Let me try again. So it's all about growth, but it's keeping those data in the Google Drive document. Make sense? Okay, cool. So let's continue. Did I touch everything on inviting? Yes, I did. All right, so now what? The person said yes. First of all, party! Woohoo! Yeah! Got me another one on my show, right? Very important. Happy times. Now, you got to book a date with them. Okay, the worst thing that you can do is ask them when's good for you, right? Because that's horrible. That's just going to be a back and forth, back and forth, back and forth of dates and times. It's never going to happen, right? So here's the thing. You have to determine for yourself, how many times do you want to do live interviews? Do you just want to do it on the cuff, whenever somebody wants, whenever somebody's available, or like what I did in the beginning, right? Sometimes I had live interview. I had, I think the worst, no, not the worst, like the most amazing week was 8 live interviews in 1 week, right? Back to back. I think the craziest day was like 4 or 5 live interviews in 1 day, and I was lucky that 1 got canceled. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, exactly. So, you know, that was a crazy day, right? And I actually, to be honest, I don't recommend that. It's nuts, right? However, it pushes you. It pushes you to the limit. So it's definitely learning experience, and your learning curve goes like this, right? So my goal was to reach 100 live interviews ASAP, as fast as possible, right? And then now I slow down. So now it's every single Thursday. So now everybody knows exactly that's the day, that's the time that I go live. Why do I do that? Because it's easier with the announcements. And now people are getting used to. So now it's not like, okay, my favorite TV show is The Walking Dead, to name one, right? And instead of The Walking Dead being on TV every Monday evening at 7 p.m., it's on Monday at 5, Tuesday at 1, right? Then it's not coming. Then next week it's on a Thursday at 2 o'clock at night, right? So you're like, okay, so when can I watch this? And then you're like, oh, I just can't get on, right? So that was my disadvantage. So I actually, now from learning from it, I recommend everybody that I speak with to just say, okay, this is the date and time that I'm going to go live every time, because that's where my audience, you know, is on Facebook and wants to watch this. And you can switch that a little bit if you don't know exactly the time, but it would be better just to do once every week and every time on a set date, right? So what do I use to book the interviews, right? Now, I started off with Calendly. I switched to Visita, right? I will make sure that I put the links in the PDF as well. You can choose. They're both the same. The only reason why I took Visita in the end is because I paid $144 for a whole year to have some extra features to be able to put that inside of my funnels, because that's what somebody taught me, right? That's it. So it doesn't matter if you choose Calendly or Visita, just check it out. Whichever one you like best, that's perfect. Then the length of your show, very important. It's very important that you share that, right? I did an hour. However, the bigger people, they didn't like to stay on for an hour, and that was usually around 30 minutes. Akbar Sheikh, Antonio Centeno, Aaron Walker, those are very big guys, big names. They stayed on for around 30, 35, max 40 minutes. That was it, right? So to be honest, an hour show is actually too long. So I dialed my show down. It's now 45 minutes, right? I know, for example, that I'm going to have Steve Larson on my show in October. I believe there will be 20 minutes. I think he gives you 20 minutes. That's it, right? So you also got, so again, my experience, right, from all of that, I would choose between 30 and 45 minutes, more or less, unless you have a complete different setup. Like I got invited the other day to somebody's show. It was 8 minutes, right? That was his show. That's his setup. That's his thing. Great. So you got to figure it out for yourself. But I think 30 minutes live interview show, that's actually really good, right? But again, think of it and figure it out for yourself. Also, I didn't put that here, but I give that as a side note. Even if you say 30 minutes, right? It doesn't matter if you go shorter, right? If all of a sudden you like, wow, this person shared all there is to share. I feel like this is a little difficult interview, which happens. Just cut it off. But in a regular way, like you would cut it off when you're at 30 minutes. Hey, this was such a great live interview. Thank you so much for taking the time for being on. I'd like to thank all the audience for being here, for all your questions or whatever it is, right? And, you know, make sure you check this person, or, you know, where can they, always the last question should be, where can, you know, how can people stay in touch with you, right? Give somebody an extra platform to share their links, and that's it, right? So that was just a little side note. Then, day of the interview, as I mentioned, I use StreamYard, right? I used to use Zoom. I stepped away from that. Why? Because it wasn't getting me the amount of audience that I wanted. Yes, you can use Zoom to go live on Facebook and on YouTube, and you have, you know, everybody can go into Zoom and be there in the room. Okay, there was no connection with the people, which you do have with Facebook. People can just hop on, be interested. That doesn't happen with Zoom that much. Plus, with Zoom, you can't see. Like, you have to have an extra screen to see what people are saying on Facebook. That's annoying, right? However, with StreamYard, as you've seen, you can actually see people commenting. You can actually highlight a comment and show that so people can see it. Like, if somebody has a question, you show that. Gets a nice picture of that person's face, depending on what kind of picture they have, of course. But it says their name, and then it says the text that they said, right? If they said like, oh, Rebecca, that was such a great question. Or who you're going to have on? Alex. Hey, Alex, that was such an amazing value bomb you just shared with us. Thank you so much. Click, you share that right away, right? Because that's cool for Alex to see, but it's also cool for everybody else. Plus, for some reason, Facebook then picks that out, and when they take your thumbnail, right, when your live is over, they actually show, most of the times they show those kind of things, which is really cool. Because people are like, oh, wow, somebody responded and this, oh, that looks like a cool comment. I want to check that out, right? So it helps, it's very beneficial to you. So I use StreamYard, and what I do is I schedule it beforehand, right? So I use Canva, where I make like a little picture before it, sharing like the photo of the person that's coming on. It says their name. Maybe like what's it going to be about, right? Very important. The time, of course, and it says it has my logo in it and my the picture that I use, and live, right? So people know that it goes live. So I put that on there, and then I post that. I post it on my profile. Why? I like that because it gets more traction, it gets more engagement, and from my profile, I'll share that StreamYard post on Facebook directly on my page, directly in my group, or in my groups, right? Or in other people's groups for that matter, right? Now, doing that, those posts turn into the live, right? So everybody's seeing already, like, for example, right? I'm going to say this because I'm projecting this to the universe. Klaas van Oosterhout interviewing Russell Brunson, right? So everybody can see this the whole day long. People are going to go nuts. Hearts. You can say, for example, in the description, hey, if you have any questions for him, put them in the comment section. People are going to answer questions. You're going to say heart for the question. You're going to reply to that question. That's a great question. Thank you so much. I'm definitely going to try and ask this, and ask him this question. Boom. That person's going to reply, oh, that would be great. Boom. More replies, more replies, more replies. Facebook says, wow, this got to be a great post. Boom. Blow up. More people come, more audience, right? You tell people, hey, hit the star. There's a star in StreamYard in that message. People hit it, they receive a reminder as soon as you go live, which is also really cool, right? So that's why I use StreamYard. Now, people that are watching this that already use something else, like BeLive. Great. Why did I choose StreamYard? Because somebody told me that they were using BeLive and it was glitchy. StreamYard has not glitched on me yet. One side note that I want to share with everybody, it's very important. StreamYard only works for you, so for the person that's hosting on your computer, not on your mobile. It doesn't work. Your guest, however, can come on using their mobile phone. No problem. Okay? The cool thing is you get a join screen. You put your logo in there. You put your names in there, which is really cool. And again, you can share people's comments. And you can share, for example, you can prepare a banner, which I used to do, with your website, right? Or your interviewee's website, right? Now that website, I also personally put that in the comments section. Why? Because I can highlight it when the person's talking about themselves, saying, hey, look, check the comment section. That link that you're just seeing is in the comment section. You can click on it right now, and you can, while you're listening, you can check out their website, right? Your interviewee is going to be really appreciative of that, right? It's like, wow, that looks really cool. Thank you for sharing that. Builds up for your relationship with them, right? Which is important for you because you later want them to share and talk and be like, wow, this was the best, the most amazing live interview I've ever done. Thank you so much, Rebecca. You know, and then they're going to share, etc. Right? All right, cool. So we said that. Day of the interview. Okay, so share interview on as many pages, group profiles as possible. I said that. Then, very important. Now we go into the nitty-gritty, right? We go into the interview itself, the exciting, the nervous part. Now we get nervous because now we have to engage in questions, right? So, number one, what I start off with. I used to start off with just, hey, this is the show for so-and-so, blah, blah, blah. I am so honored to have as my next guest, right? Talk a little bit about them. And then ask them, and then let them talk about them first, right? And then I go into the first actual question. Okay, I changed that. Why? To be honest, nobody cares who I am or who you are or who your interviewee is. They care about what can they give me, what value can they share with me, what can I learn from them. So I changed that up, and I learned this from a guy that is really freaking successful and amazing, by the way. For anybody that wants to look him up, his name is Owen Hemseth. Freaking on video, one of the best people I've ever seen. He first starts with a topic. So pretty much, if you found out, okay, this person I'm going to interview, like the most amazing thing that they can share is X, that's the first thing you're going to talk about. It's the first thing you're going to ask, right? So they share their most valuable thing that they can share straight off the cuff. And then you go, hey, thank you so much for that first golden nuggets. You know, what's your origin story? What's your background story? Who are you? Share with us, please, all your insight. Then they share that a little bit. Now people are going, you know, they went, boo, wow, they go down a little bit. And boom, there you go with your second or your third question, right? Okay, so now we come into the question part. Again, the mistake that I made, it's very important. It's not just asking a question, right? So tell me, what do you do? Or, hey, you know, what does it mean for you to, you know, what does purpose mean to you, right? That's boring. That's not a conversation, right? You need context. So you give context. Hey, listen, I've noticed from my audience that, you know, they know that purpose is very important to them. However, they have no idea, you know, how to find it, how to deal with that. I'm just wondering, you know, how did you find your purpose? What did you do? Right now, it's like a little story, right? Okay, that makes it that makes a really nice conversation. And then they start talking, and then you listen, right? And things that you don't understand, you ask. It's very important because your audience probably doesn't understand it either. Like, that sounds really interesting. Can you go a little bit more deeper into that? Can you explain it a little bit more detail for me? Wow, that was amazing, right? Just be really positive, of course, very important. And keep getting them going, right? Like Dean Graziosi, for example, says like you go 7 layers deep. Now you don't do that in a live interview, but sometimes you just gotta take 2 extra levels deep into what they're saying, right? If you have the possibility. Sometimes they're really good and they just flat out share, and you're just like, wow, amazing, thank you so much. People are gonna love this, right? So that said, mistake that I made. Halfway. So this was, you know, I'm leveling up, right? Throughout the 100+ live interviews. I wrote down the whole story. So I wrote down literally the whole story of what I was going to ask. Problem. Well, I would ask the first question, and then while that person was sharing with me and my audience, I would be reading the next question, right? Because I wanted to really have it perfect. Yeah, so perfect is a mistake, as you know, and it doesn't have to be perfect. However, it was very imperfect because I lost completely the connection with the interviewee, right? Plus, I had no idea what they were talking about, so I couldn't really continue my questioning in regards to that topic, right? Now, then I leveled it up again. So instead of writing down the question, right? Because then I wrote down the question and I just in my head made a topic and made a story around it. Then I only started writing topics, right? Dadpreneur, purpose, vision, kids, relationships, wife. Sorry, those are all things that are important for become a fearless father. You know what I mean, right? So you find out what are the topics that my ideal client wants to learn more things about. And those are the topics you write down. Okay. Now, to be honest, now after 100 plus, I don't write anything down. Like I go into my, on Thursday, I go into my live interview. I go like this. It's completely blank. I've done some research. I know the people, and I know that with my first question that I only have to remember the first question, right? Why? I'm now so comfortable. I'm just paying attention to what they're saying. And from what they're saying, I can pick out 4 or 5 new things that I want to talk about. I already have all the topics, all the challenges of my audience. So I know exactly what I want to talk about. The only thing is that now I don't have to look at my list anymore. I can just really look at the person and really listen and hear, wow, this is where he's really passionate about. This is where, that person knows a lot about. Great. That's what I'm going to talk more about. So now it becomes more interesting, and I usually have no idea where a conversation is going. Why do I do it like this now? Because I found out that while I was doing my last 20 live interviews, I had 10 topics, or sometimes 15, and I discussed 2, and the conversation went completely different way. I'm like, man, I spent an hour trying to come up with these topics, and the conversation in the end goes a completely different way because, that's just what it is, right? Because it's a live interview, but you just having a fun conversation with that person. You got to remember, it's just a person on the other side, right? So, we good? Excellent. All right, so we continue. Now, during, right? Share questions and comments of the people that are watching, right? So as I mentioned, it's very possible within StreamYard. The only thing you have to do is you got the comment section on, you see the screen, you click, and it will pop up, and that's it. It's really easy. Yeah, it's really easy, right? So then you close off, right? So whatever time you set, 30 minutes, 45 minutes, doesn't matter. If you reach the maximum time, or if you just feel like, hey, that was enough, that was great, we can wrap it up. And something I didn't say. So in the beginning, you got to make sure that your interviewee knows that after you're done and you say goodbye, they stay on with you, right? I think it was Rachel Peterson, I think, that I had on my show, and I said goodbye, and she said goodbye, and poof, she was gone, and I still had 3 questions for her, right? So I was like, and I was in contact with her by Messenger, so I asked them like that, but it's not the same, right? So you got to make sure that, hey, look, right before you go live, you just say, hey, look, before we go live, once we're done, can you make sure that you stay on, even though if I say goodbye, just stay on with me. I'll disconnect the live. However, I want you to stay with me, so I got 3 more questions for you that are just for you. I'm a little sneaky there. I'm a little naughty, or whatever you want to call it, right? But I find a little bit of humor in there to lighten the mood is always great. So then 3 questions that I ask. 1, first of all, thank you so much for the live interview. I really appreciate this. It was gold. Thank you so much. Would you do me a huge favor and send me a message on Messenger or by email and share with me your physical address, right? I would like to send you a gift for being on my show. That's huge. Nobody does it. You will make friends for life, which is very important, as you know, relationship. Your network is your net worth, right? Now, what do you send because you're like, but I don't have anything? Well, this is what I'm working on right now. I just have a cool picture that says thank you. And then I have this, at the moment it's blank. I'm about to write a really nice thank you letter for them, thanking them again, right? And talking and sharing a little bit like, wow, this what you shared was absolutely amazing. Thank you so much. You know, best of luck with all I always end with best of luck with all your projects. And if there's ever anything that you think I can do to help you out, don't hesitate for a second and reach out to me. I'll be glad to do so, right? And then you sign off. So you share that. Now, second one. Again, I loved this live interview. I really enjoyed our connection. Now, I'm always looking for ladies like you, in your case, ladies, in my case, men, right? And men like you that I can have on my show. If you happen to know any of those that are your connections, you know, could you put them in contact with me? Could you, you know, get me an introduction or something? 9 out of 10 times, they're going to introduce you to at least one person, right? One person. If you do one live interview a week, that means you don't have to send out a batch of 7 interviews, 7 video invites. That's a lot of time. That saved you right there. And I tell you right now, I had one guy, he introduced me to 5 people that all 5 of them went on, no, 4 of them went on my show and the 5th one is about to. And just mind-blowing. Why? Because that introduction, you know you're going to get quality because they are so excited about how you did that live interview with them. They're going to be like, man, yes, here. And you know for a fact there's going to be a click, right? You know for a fact there's going to be a match. So it's going to be perfect. So it saves you time. Plus, it's a guaranteed success. Like I hadn't had one interview yet that somebody suggested somebody else that wasn't amazing, right? And then the last question, and this is very crucial as well. And again, this is for building your relationship. However, it's also something that I really live by. And I ask, okay, so my last question, how can I serve you? Quiet. Don't ask anything. Don't, it's some people feel giddy about it, you know? No, just people find that question mind-blowing because nobody asked that question. Like they've just been on your show. You already served them. You gave them a platform to share their message. And now, after all that, the last thing you ask is how you can serve them. However, it's really good. It's good for you, for your relationship, but it's also good for you because that's what we're all about, right? Any single person that's in contact with me knows that it's all about serving. It's all about making an impact in somebody's life. Doesn't matter how big they are, how small they are, you can always do something. And it could be just somebody saying to you, Rebecca, thank you so much. I really appreciate it. You know, you just giving me the opportunity to be here. That's really serving. I really appreciate it. Great. Sometimes I had one guy, he's like, dude, if you could put me in contact with some other people that has been on your show, I'd love that. I put him in contact with 5 people. No questions asked. Boom, here you go. That dude went insane. He's like, dude, this is freaking amazing. This guy interviewed Simon Sinek, right? So we're not talking about this is a small guy. No, this is a guy that interviewed Simon Sinek who's asking me to put him in contact with other people. I put him in contact with 5 big names that I had on my show, and he's excited. Well, I'm like, dude, you had Simon Sinek, right? I asked him, he still doesn't know how he did it. He got really lucky, he said. So I didn't think it had anything to do with luck. It just, you know, the right time, right place, and consistency, just keep going, right? So after that, there's an after as well, right? Now you're done, the person disconnected, now you're done. Okay, now you go to Facebook. You download the recording, right? So the live, you download it onto your computer. And with that download, you do whatever you want, right? So you can upload it onto YouTube, so you have a video there. You can take the audio and put it on your podcast, right? So those are the 2 things that I do. You can use it on your website, for example. If it was a really amazing person, amazing interview, you can share it there as like a vlog kind of thing, right? Whatever it is. You can share it on LinkedIn, right? So I share all my solo lives on LinkedIn. You can't share a live interview because it's more than 10 minutes, most likely, right? And LinkedIn says 10 minutes and then it's done, right? So there you go. That was it. That was, for now, I think I covered absolutely everything, right? And yeah, one thing that I also did that I'm not doing at the moment because I just have too much content. One of my goals is to cut up the videos, right? So because you have questions, so per question I cut it up. And I also uploaded those on YouTube and Facebook and as podcasts. Just because you never know, maybe somebody's just interested in that topic, right?
Right.
So that was that thing. All right, how does that help?
Oh, that was wonderful. It was it makes me feel more confident going. I mean, I already know why I'm interviewing her. It's for her One Group Away challenge.
Yeah.
And but just to help me form, in my mind, get it the process thought out. And I think the only thing I'm really nervous about, because when we get off, like this afternoon, I'm going to, which I said I did the other day or was going to and still haven't, but I'm going to upgrade on StreamYard so that I can have my logo. And, how did you come up with, did you on Canva pick a Facebook post size for your,
Yeah, that's the size.